Okay. But this is a topic that I see all the time, and it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't see it as much as I do, unattached sources, because he probably attaches all his sources. But it's really an important thing that you attach the sources, and they're not attached for a variety of reasons. Sometimes there are extended family members that are in the source, or children that haven't been born yet, or that were already born that are not in the source, that have been out of the house, or whatever. Sometimes they're just farm hands or people working. But there's a variety of reasons. But and people seem to just ignore that, and that's why it says unattached source down there. But there's several ways you can do it, and the best thing, the reason to do it, is because you add them to the FamilySearch database when you do that. And so it gives another person the opportunity to not only find them, but it gives the opportunity to have their work done. Sometimes, too, when FamilySearch extracts names, they just put the information in there that's obvious. And somebody asked me the other day, what's the advantage of coming to the library? Well, the advantage of coming to the library is that you can look at the sources that are not available at home, the whole source, okay, and glean all the information that's on there. I mean, as a death record, for example, if you look at the informant, a lot of times it's a family member, then they don't record that. So there are all kinds of reasons to do that, and that's why I asked Dale to do it, because I've said in some of his lectures before, and I knew he would do a good job. Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to come and instruct the group on sources today. I would like to start out by showing what FamilySearch indicates are the benefits to adding sources to the family tree. A source is historical material. Examples include a picture, journal, Bible, document, or other item that contains evidence about your family history. They make it easier for users to work together in family tree. Sources can settle or prevent disputes. They add richness to the family tree. Information about your ancestors on a record can increase your awareness that your ancestors were real people and that you really are connected to them. They demonstrate the accuracy of the information in the tree. They help you evaluate conflicting information. When you find conflicting information, such as 2 different birth dates for the same person, sources can help you determine which one is most likely to contain the correct information. And lastly, they acknowledge the work that is done by others.
You're gonna get off at Main Street? Is that closer to the library?
I put your mute button on down there on the left bottom. See if mute.
Mutes my audio?
No, you're good. I just forgot to mute.
It was him.
Okay, thank you. The first thing I want to do is show you a little used tool in FamilySearch, and that is the source box. I'm going to show you how to get to that source box. You go over here to your name and click on your picture there. And one of the options under your picture where you can sign out, just above that is the source box. I'm going to click on that right now. This is a place similar to in Ancestry, they have a shoebox. In FamilySearch, they have a source box. It's where you can put sources that if you want to evaluate them or use them later on, you can keep them here in storage and don't have to keep reloading them every time you want to look at them. I've got 4 of them here right now. You can do several things with these. You can view them, edit, copy, remove, or attach it to. This shows who it's already attached to. But you can select it and move it or remove it here. Just wanted to point that out to you. We'll do more with this source box in later on in my presentation. There are I next want to show you the source tab on a person page. Here is the details page that opens up when you open a person page. But this tab right here is the sources for that individual. This individual, who is my mother, by the way, has 33 different sources. I'm going to scroll down and show you a little bit about these. Right here is the icon that indicates that this particular source came from FamilySearch. A little bit further, this little world indicates that this particular source came from a source outside of FamilySearch, or one that you've input yourself. This icon indicates that this is a memory source, or a photo, or a picture. And that is how you determine the difference between these particular sources. Now, on this source page, this is the indicator of where the source came from, or where, FamilySearch, outside or memory. This is the date of the source. This is the title that you have given to it, or that FamilySearch has given to it. The date that it was created and by whom it was created. This little arrow indicates that you can click on that or anywhere along this bar to open up the details for that source. When you click on that, it shows all of the details for this particular source. This source indicates the name, the sex, the parents, and what this event was. And this is where you can go to see the original document. I'm going to close that now. The interesting thing I discovered is this particular individual here, Nikki Capel, has indicated in her preferences on her profile that it's acceptable for everybody to see her relationship. I also have done that on my profile. Let's get then back up here. By clicking on her name, it shows me her picture, her login name, where she's at, and my relationship. She's my first cousin twice removed. I'm going to click on the right here on the relationship icon. That'll bring up my relationship to her. I found that to be very interesting. If everybody in the if you put that on your profile. I'm going to go back now and show you somebody else. This one has not indicated they want to review that relationship. And right here, you could request, and that'll send them a message saying, is it acceptable to view relationships? And then they can decide to or not to. Okay. Last thing about this source page on when you're in a person is the options that are available to you. Clicking on the options, it's not opening. I don't know why that's not open. The option, when you click that, you have a couple of options. One is to sort these by, oh, there it finally popped up.
Oh, slow computer.
Slow computer? Yes, okay. You have the option to sort your sources by date, which is what I normally keep it at. So the lowest date is right here, and it gets the higher dates are farther down. You can change it to ascending here, and the most recent source will be at the top by date. I'm going to change it back to descending there. You also, one other thing you can do is sort it by different types. I'm going to uncheck FamilySearch and uncheck user defined. My mother has two particular memory sources here. And if you just want to work on those, you have this option here. I'm going to add FamilySearch back and add user created back. Now, the last item that's on this sources page is showing unfinished attachments. I'm going to click that. This source right here, because I don't have this box now, indicates that everybody who is referenced on this birth certificate is attached in FamilySearch. This United States Census, there are people on this census in this family who are not attached to FamilySearch. And we will get to that later on. I'm going to actually show you how to do that later on. I'm just showing you how to use the source page right now. I'm going to uncheck that for right now and move on. There are several places in FamilySearch to look for sources. On the sign-in page, on the home page, when you sign in, there's temple and record hints right here. If that's not open, you can click on the little down arrow. And right now, records is checked. If you want to look at record and temple opportunities, it'll show the temple here, but we're only interested today in records. So these are hints that FamilySearch is saying these people have records that could possibly be attached as sources. And you can click here to view all of them if you wish to. Or if you just want to work at them one at a time, you can go back right here. And you click on, if you click on the little blue icon, it actually opens these sources where you can work on them. If you actually click on the person, it takes you to that person's page where you can see this hint. The next place you can find sources is on, I'm going to close that, on a person page. Going back to details here. On a person page, FamilySearch in this box here gives you research help, which is giving you hints to possible sources for this person here. In this case, there's a 1939 register, possible church records. I want to caution you as you look at these hints, just because they are here in this box does not mean that this source is definitely this person. You need to open these and take a look at them, and as a patron, determine if that source is actually referring to this person. If it doesn't, I'm going to open one right here quickly and show you. Drag this back out of the way. You take a look here and make these determinations if this is the correct source. If it is not, down at the very bottom, I can't get to it because of this. There it is. Okay. You can click not a match and it'll take it away from there. Close that and get this back out of the way here. Okay. Another place that you can find sources on a person page is searching records. These sites right here are partners with FamilySearch. They have made arrangements with each of these websites to allow patrons to use these websites free without charge. Normally, these websites here will charge for using their websites. If you have not done so, I would encourage you strongly to do so. I'm going to click on one that I am not linked to right there. It says you're leaving FamilySearch. As a church member, you can sign up for a free subscription to this site. Click on that. It takes you to the sites, to the websites that FamilySearch has partnered with. In this case, I'm going to use Philae, and just as an example for you, if you are not linked to them, you can click on that. And somewhere on their webpage, you'll find Join for Free, and you click that. Looks like we've got a slow computer again. And it brings up a page where they will ask you to accept that it's okay for them to know your basic FamilySearch information and to save data about your family tree. You should accept this. It allows them access to your family tree in FamilySearch. I'm going to cancel and go back now. And cancel this one here. Okay. So if you're not linked up here, you definitely should get linked up because that gives you free access when you click on this. I'll show you what happens when I'm linked up to Ancestry. So I click on Ancestry and it's okay for me to search records somewhere else. I'm going to click OK. It will load up possible sources for that person that I'm looking at in Ancestry. And again, it doesn't guarantee that each one of these are a source for this person, but you need the ones that are most likely will be at the very top of this list. What was your question?
How do we unblur them?
Unblur them.
Sign in.
You have to sign in. Yes.
Okay, tell people to
Okay.
sign in first.
Yes.
Before you research an ancestry.
That's
And
right.
it'll be clean when you go over there.
Because
Open them all
on
up.
my home computer, I'm automatically logged in. I just stay in all the time. If this happens to you when you log in, then you can actually click right here. I'll actually log in so you know how to do it. I've now signed into Ancestry. And it brings it up to their home page when you sign in. What I do is I close the page and I go back and open it up again. Now you can see all of the information. On my home computer, I stay signed in all the time, and so it automatically comes up when I log into those sites. Okay. I'm going to go back to Gladys. I'm going to close this tab here. I'm actually going to use one of these hints right now. I'm going to look at this National Register for Gladys Pittman. I will open that up. I'm going to drag this window out of the way so we can see it over here. And this is the possible source for Gladys Pittman. I've previously determined and looked at all this information and compared it over here. And yes, I'm confident that this is a source for Gladys Mary Hill. So I'm going to review and attach. Thank you.
And then on the floating bar, hit the three dots. And Rob, it says hide floating.
There.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Glenn. When you click on that hint, I was right here and clicked on this hint right here. It opens up this window. And if you decide it's correct, you click review and attach. And FamilySearch has a very clever tool called Source Linker that allows you to attach the sources without you having to type everything in. This is the National Register. Everything that's on that source is on this side, on this column of the screen. Everything that is already in your family tree is shown on this side. And so we're going to compare Gladys M. Pittman on the record. Gladys Mary, yes, I agree. She's female. The birth dates are identical. Residence in 1939 is here, but it isn't in FamilySearch. If you want to, you can click this add. It pulls it over there. And you can standardize. I typically will just do a backspace and retype the last digit, which corrects this right down here. And then that pulls the standardized dates in. This one is already standardized. And this information is correct. The reason I'm attaching this source is this source, the name, birth, and gender. That's a reason for attaching that source. A question?
Resident section. White area, is there a way to change address? Because I tried to do that and it would come up as unauthorized.
If you're trying to standardize, FamilySearch only allows the standardized forms in there at this point.
Put it in notes.
I'm just going to suggest, if you want to, you can put that in notes. The question was asked if a street address can be typed in right here, and only standardized forms can go in there.
Below in the white section, yeah.
Oh, that is a residence that's already, oh, do you mean down here?
No.
That is a residence that was previously put in prior. There was only one. I'm going to undo this here and show you. It was already there. Somebody else had put that in for 1911 was a residence. And if you add this,
The notes section.
I'll show you the notes section. Right there.
Go down further.
It's down.
Down, yeah. No, on the.
Oh, it's right here, yeah.
Right there.
You can add a note there. Either place. Collaborate right there was the same as adding a note. Okay.
And the reason for that is that the artificial intelligence that they use to compare to decide whether it's a duplicate. If it's not a standardization, it doesn't know what to do with it. So then you get duplicates. So, okay.
Because I just realized recently that to make just match, when you find the right one, and you're looking at the address.
Yeah.
I've got so much to cover. We need to keep moving. I'm sorry. We're going to run out of time as it is. Okay. You need to be aware of tagging. This information does show the name, the birth, and the gender. You should have these checked: name, sex, and birth. When you check them here, it actually will show over here when you open up the edit bars on this. That source will then display over here on the information for this birth. Or the sex. I right now have Gladys M. Pittman from a source other than FamilySearch. Note that there. I'm going to add that source that I'm working on right now from FamilySearch, and it'll be a second one here from FamilySearch rather than outside of FamilySearch. Going to close that. Get back over here. And so I'm agreeing that this is correct. This source linker here. And so I've checked all of these so that the sources will show on the individual vital items on the person page. One last thing. If you want to keep this source to use or on another person or to look at it later, then you check add source to source box, and it will add it to that source box that I showed you earlier. Yes, when you click down on your picture. I'm actually going to add this one just for a demonstration. I normally wouldn't because I only use them one at a time. So I'm going to attach this right now. It's now attached here in the source linker. I could close this right now, but I'm not going to. I have one more demo on there. I'm going to close this right there. Going to refresh the screen for Gladys.
I think it's important to remember to refresh.
Yes, refresh.
To do that. That makes it.
Now I'll show you here on the birth. Underneath the one that was outside of FamilySearch, we now have one that's right there from FamilySearch. It's now displayed for her birth. That's how it's added to FamilySearch. Going back to the source linker here. Her husband is Albert Victor Pittman. I have determined that this person right here is actually her husband. In source linker, once you've got the trying to think of the right word here, focus person. Gladys Mary Hill is the focus person in FamilySearch. Once you've got her taken care of, you can actually come over here and grab that person and drag him up to match with your family tree. You can then compare. And yes, these all look the same. That's right. I would normally go ahead and attach with all of these checked. I would probably uncheck the source box. I don't want to start cluttering up my box. and then I would click attach. Say again?
Put the residents, add the residents.
You have that ability to do so if you want to. Yes, you can add the residents if you want to. It's recommended that you do. It's recommended that you do. I have a personal preference that I don't always. Sometimes I do. One other thing I want to show you on this source linker here, I've also determined that Walter T. Pittman is the child of these two people. Now you'll see that there's no children here shown in family tree. Trying to open that, there's none, zero. But you can still grab the child and drag it up and see the little brown bar underneath the children. Release your drag, and he's now shown under as one of the children on the record. You can click add. FamilySearch goes out and looks and sees if there's somebody in FamilySearch already by this name. If there is, it will say, is this a match? And you can add that person. In this case, they were not able to find anybody. So you take care of all this information here. You have to click either living or deceased, and then it'll let you create a new person. I'm not going to add him right now. I clicked deceased, and you have to enter a reason here is deceased, and then you can create the new person there. I've gone through that very quickly, but this is how you can add people using Source Linker. I'm going to close Source Linker now. I'm not going to do any more work with Gladys's family. My step-grandfather's line, I'm going to go to his sources page. You go to the options. I'm going to click unfinished attachments. Down to the 1940 census. I'm going to click. This shows that there are people on this source, on this census, that are not attached in FamilySearch. So I'm going to click unfinished attachments. It brings up Source Linker with Joseph Berlin, married to his wife. She's passed away before this census was taken, so she isn't shown over here on the census. My step-grandfather was living with my parents at the time. This is my father, but Source Linker doesn't quite know what to do with him. It's shown as a son of these two, but he's not actually a son. Disregard that right now. I just wanted to show you how to get his children all attached on that are listed right here. His children are shown right here. Here's Keith Berlin. I'm going to grab him and drag him up there. I'm going to drag Catherine up there. These are individuals that are shown on the census, but you need to attach them to your FamilySearch people also. You can click compare. Take a look at the information here. To attach source, make certain you're correctly tagged, and attach. I'm throwing a lot at you, and I even got more to throw at you, but this is a cool way to use Source Linker. Any questions? Good or bad? Okay, I'm going to close that. I'm done with my step-grandfather. Okay, Tirzah Lillington shows as being married to Stephen Baker. I'm going to click on the edit icon here. But there are no sources for this marriage shown on the couple relationship window. I'm going to close that. I'm going to open her sources tab. Scroll, I'm going to undo the unfinished attachments for clarity. Down here are two sources showing she was married. I've previously looked at these. It does show Stephen Baker married to spouse Tirzah Lillington, and it shows the date and the place. So I know that that's a good source. And I've also looked at the index source. They're both valid sources. So we want to get both of these sources that are on the sources tab over to the marriage couple relationship window. I'm going back to There's window and open up her marriage couple relationship window. We're going to add a source, but I can't get it directly from the person from the sources page. That's not one of the options. You could type in a new source and copy and paste from that other source page, but there's a quicker method to do that, and I want to show you what that is. That. Here's the marriage source I'm going to do. You can view this marriage source. If you click the view option, it brings up this screen. As soon as it does come up, which gives you an option to add it to your source box. Okay, these options. One of the options is copy to source box. So I'm going to copy to the source box there, and it was copied. It says to my source box. Back to her page. Close that there. Scroll all the way to the top to my picture. Go to my source box. And there it is, copy of Teresa's marriage. I'm going to edit this just because I like to get rid of that word copy. I'm going to edit. And save it. Close it again. It's now in my source box. I'm going back to Teresa, going back to her marriage couple relationship, going to add a source. I can now attach from source box. Save me all that copying and pasting. Oh, was I?
Yeah, you were just one. Well, yeah, you got.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you caught me on that. It's the marriage here. Yes.
Or it's the other marriage.
Whoops, it's Robert Angel. Thank you. Keep me straight. Nope. There it is. Okay. Thank you. I'm trying to go fast because I've got a lot of stuff to cover here. Add source. I can now attach from source box. You come here. There it is. You don't have to even check it. All you got to do is go to the right and click attach. The reason to attach this source. Now back to the previous page. Go down to the marriage couple relationship. The source is now there. And you can click on it here and look at it here. If this information was not here, it's hard to add it here. So you have this option up here to edit it. This shows the date. And I want to edit this information and make it certain it's correct. You can now tag that source that you've just added by checking that box and saving. It's now there, and you can open it on this window, compare the information here with what's over here. 16 October 1862, 16 October 1862 in Winthrop, Newburgh. I'm going to standardize both of these. Backspace, add the 2 again, and click the little gray area. And a backspace on the D, add the D, and it's a village here. You got 2 different options. Going to put it with the United Kingdom. And this information and I'm done.
You originally had the wrong marriage date.
If you discover, oh, the question was if there was a different date on this marriage certificate, would that override it? Not automatically. It would not override it automatically, but you've added a source that would prove what you would change this to. That you've got the source that proves the right date now. All right, I think I'm done with that one. That is sure a handy little thing to use, using those. Okay. I'm going to close this. That's where I copied. Don't need that. And I'm through with my source box. Getting down to where we're working on the next tab. Okay, I'm going to the sources page on Ernest Edward Griffiths. I'm going to the 1911 census. I'm actually going to click on this little icon, which will open the source in Ancestry where we can see it. I've previously logged into Ancestry, so it opens right up immediately. I'm actually going to look here now. It shows down here that Florence Vintner is a servant. To his details page. She's not shown anywhere in the family. There is a place that you can add that servant as a relationship with this family. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. You scroll down to other relationships. You want to add other relationship. You're going to add a relationship of employment. She's a servant. The different ones are apprenticeship, enslavement, godparent, household, neighbor, relative. If there's a distant relative, you can add the relative that's on a census. If they're in the household, I guess you can add them as a household. You want to put the relationship in first before you add the person. Say that again. What was
Write your own in.
I don't believe you can write your own in. There isn't a way that'll let you do that. It's adding another relationship. It isn't related to the family at all. That's correct. We'll add this person. And I'm going to have to type her in. What's her name? Florence Vintner. I'm actually going to click on her to bring up her record, which gives me her birth date and her birthplace. So she was born in Blissworth, Northamptonshire in 1891. She's a female. She was born in 1891. I'm making a presumption now that she's deceased. And what did I say? Blissworth? Let me go back here. Blissworth, Northamptonshire. Oh, that's the problem. Thank you. About 1891. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't coming up.
The first place is up to the right.
Still on the death date. Delete this recording. There it is. Next, then FamilySearch will go and look and see if Florence Vintner is in their database. No match was found. If it was found, then you can click Add Match. In this case, we're going to create a person. Person has been successfully created. We're going to refresh just a moment on your question.
You didn't save.
I didn't save. Oh,
You hit
I hit
cancel,
cancel. I didn't save. You're right.
but it would have shown.
It would have shown there. Yes, I'm sorry. What was your question, Keith?
Doesn't fit. It's like employment or any of the other. Tabs under person.
Well, if they're in that household, part of the census, you could probably use household. That would be my
And then you
suggestion.
know,
Yeah, and you could add a note. Yeah. If we have time at the end, I'll go back over this again so we can all look and see what that other relationship looks like. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. I'll save Edward Griffiths here. My person page now. I would like to show you that I am married, but there's no proof of it. I'm sorry, my dear. My wife is here today. Add proof today using a memory source. I have previously, I'm going to open this my memories gallery in a new tab down here. For this class purpose, I'm making an assumption that you know how to do memories. I have digitized my marriage certificate here and added it to my memory gallery. I'm going to rotate it and fit it to the screen for purposes of you looking at it here. That's the marriage certificate that I previously added to the memories gallery right there. So I'm just going back to the gallery. I'm now going over to my person page, to my marriage. I'm going to add a source. This is where you can add a new memory source right here. If you have it already in your memories gallery, or if it isn't in your gallery, you can upload it directly. As you upload it if you upload it here, it automatically goes into your gallery anyway. But I like to select from gallery after I've worked on it. I've actually gone into it here and have added the date and the place. And eventually I'm going to add who is in this memory, and I'll add that in just a few seconds. Okay, we're back adding the source here. The source date is 1971, isn't it, my wife?
Oh, you don't have a month or
I'm shortening this, yes. Adding a memory. This is what you use if you're going to use a web page. But we're adding a memory this time. I'm going to select from the gallery. You select right here with a little check mark. You import. It's now imported here. That's where then the citation is notes. Write my name correctly. Notes, reason to attach source, shows marriage certificate. Scrolling down, and I'm ready to save. And I'm going to do that right now. That now is a source on my marriage couple relationship. And I can go tag it. So look at it here. The reason this information is correct. Save. I hope you learned something there today using memory sources. That works for documents like I used there. It can work for photographs if the photograph will prove some vital record there. If you've got a family Bible, you can take a photo of the Bible cover and use that as your memory and document the information in your source there. Any questions? You don't have to refresh on this. It's wise practice though. Yeah, it's wise practice. Oh, we're gonna have some time. Okay. These. To show something that's really clever on with Source Linker here on Gladys Mary Hill. Not Gladys Mary Hill, I'm sorry. Gotta get the right person here. Hold on a second. Gotta get back to. Okay. Going to the sources here for Tirza. In the second here. I thought I had this down, but I apologize for that. I'm not going to be able to. Okay. Fine. Bear with me just a moment. I'm sorry about this. Okay, I want to show this source to you. This is a source where my focus person is Miriam Tinsley, 1911. It shows Minnie Goddard on this record. Let's take a look at the census itself. Oops, it's on Find My Past. Let's see if I've got it somewhere else. Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna have to log in to Find My Past. We'll do that. We don't have to. Great. Minnie Goddard is shown as the sister-in-law of Thomas Tinsley, the head. So if he's the sister-in-law, that means that she is a sister probably to Ellen Tinsley. So I'm going to make certain that Ellen has the last name of Goddard. Ellen's last name is Goddard. So this person is the sister to Ellen Tinsley. So I know that now. So I want to use Source Linker on the source page. 1911 census. I want to read. Here's, if you don't want to open all the attachments, you can actually click Review Attachment right here on an individual source. That opens up Source Linker. And there is another person down here, Minnie Goddard. But the focus person here is Marion Tinsley. But she is the sister to this person. Miriam is the child of these two, and you can't put Minnie in here as a child or as a sibling because Miriam's the focus person, so you have to change the focus person to Ellen so that we can add her sister to her record. So we're going to change that by using this change icon right here. And we're going to change it to Ellen Goddard right there. Ellen is now the focus person. And we know that Minnie is a sibling to Ellen Goddard. You can now drag Minnie up to add it here as a sibling. You would click Add. Search went out and looked and could not find it, so you can create a new person right here. Birth was about 1883. Born in Liverpool. I'm going to standardize this. It's a city. She's deceased. We don't know where. And we're going to create a new person. She's now been created with this new number in FamilySearch. She's a sibling to Ellen. And the reason to attach source. There. Now, I'm also making certain that these are tagged, sex, name, and birth. So it's got the name, sex, and birth. I don't necessarily want to add this to my source box, so I leave that unchecked, and we attach. Now let's close. I'm through with Source Linker for right now. Anytime you're finished with Source Linker, you can always close it. We're going to go back, refresh. Open the 1911 census again, review attachments. And all the people that are shown here now, it isn't shown on this one, but we got to get Ellen. We want to change this to Ellen again as the focus person. And everybody is attached on that census now. Okay. Changing that focus person can help you in many census records. If you go to the source linker, just make certain that you're getting the children or siblings in the right area on that source linker. Now, I made a mistake adding that source for Miriam Tinsley. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to that source and the details here. I'm going to go to Ellen Goddard as my primary person. And I show Minnie Goddard here as a child now of these two and a sister to Ellen. I'm going to open her sources page. Anytime you make a mistake in FamilySearch, it's always you can delete something and get rid of it. I made a mistake, let's say, you can click detach, explain why you're detaching it. If I'm not going to detach it because I've already attached her, but I would click detach right there. Just type the real reason you're detaching it. I made a mistake. Attached to the wrong person, something like that. I didn't make a mistake on this. I was just demonstrating what you would do if you had made a mistake on a source. I have thrown a lot of information at you. Any questions?
Phone number.
I will be glad to give you my email address if you want. I'm serious. If you want to ask questions or find something that you're working on. The folks here at the center know how to get a hold of me if you want to, and I'm glad to help anybody that needs it.